I've been to the zoo. I said I've been to the zoo. Mister, I've been to the zoo.
What? I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
I said I went to the zoo and I walked until I came here. Have I been walking north?
North? Well, I think so. Let me see.
Is that Fifth Avenue there?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What is that cross street over there, that one? The one over there to the right.
That's 74th Street.
And the zoo's around 65th Street. So I've been walking north.
It would seem so.
Good old north.
Yeah.
But not due north.
Well, no, not due north. You know, we call it north. It's northerly.
Well, boy, you're not going to get lung cancer, are you?
No, sir, not with this pipe.
No, sir. What you'll probably get is cancer of the mouth. Then you have to wear one of those things that Freud wore after they took away one whole side of his jaw. What do you call those things?
A prosthesis?
It's the very thing, a prosthesis. Say, you're an educated man, aren't you? What are you, a doctor?
No. No, I'm not. I think I read it somewhere. Time magazine, I think it was.
Well, Time magazine isn't for blockheads.
No, I suppose not.
Oh, boy. Glad that's Fifth Avenue there.
Yeah.
I don't like the west side of the park much.
Oh? Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
Do you mind if we talk?
Well, no.
Yes, you do, you do.
No, I don't mind.
Yes, you do.
I said I don't mind. Really, I don't.
It's a nice day.
Oh, yes, yes, it's lovely.
I've been to the zoo.
Yes, I think you said that, didn't you?
You'll read about it in the papers tomorrow. If you don't see it on your TV tonight. You have TV, haven't you?
Yes. Yes, we have two. One for the children.
Oh, you married?
Certainly.
Well, isn't a law, for God's sake.
No, of course not.
You, have a wife?
Yes.
You have children?
Yes, two.
Boys.
No, girls. Both girls.
But you wanted boys.
Naturally, a man would like to have a son, but...
But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I wasn't going to say that.
You're not gonna have any more kids, are you?
No, no more. Why did you say that? How would you know about that?
The way you cross your legs, maybe. There's something in the voice. Maybe I'm just guessing. Is it your wife?
Now, look here, that's none of your business. Do you understand? So you're right, so there'll be no more children.
That is the way the cookie crumbles.
Yes, I guess so.
Well, now, what else?
What you were saying about the zoo. That I'd read about it?
Yeah,
See?
well, I'll tell you about it soon. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, not really.
I'll tell you why I do it. I don't talk to many people. Except to say, like, maybe give me a beer. Or, where's the John? Or what time does the next feature go on? Well, keep your hands to yourself, buddy, you know? Things like that.
I must say that I don't...
But every once in a while, I like to talk to somebody, really. Talk. I like to get to know somebody. Know all about them.
Am I the guinea pig for today?
On a sun-drenched Sunday afternoon like this? I mean, who better than a nice married man with a wife and 2 daughters? And a dog?
No.
No? 2 dogs?
No.
No dogs, huh? Gee, that's a shame. But, you look like an animal, man. Cats?
Yeah.
The cats, huh? But that can't be your idea, no, sir. Your wife. And your daughters.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I should know?
Well, there are 2 parakeets. You know, one for each of my daughters.
Birds, huh?
Well, my daughters keep them in a cage in their bedroom.
Do they carry disease, the birds?
I don't think so.
Well, that's too bad. If they did, you could set them loose in the house and the cats could eat them and die, maybe. What else, what do you do to support your enormous household?
Well, I have an executive position with a small publishing house. We publish textbooks and, you know.
That sounds nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
What do you make?
Oh, now look here.
Now, come on.
I make around $18,000 a year, but I don't carry more than $40 on me at any one time. If you're some kind of a hold-up man or something.
Where do you live? Now look, I'm not gonna rob you. I'm not gonna kidnap your cats, your parakeets, or your daughters.
I live between Lexington and 3rd Avenue on 74th Street. All right?
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Oh, look, I don't mean to seem, well, you don't carry on a conversation, you just ask questions. And I'm, well, you know, normally I'm reticent. Why do you just stand there?
I'll start walking around pretty soon. And eventually I'll sit down. Wait until you see the expression on his face.
What? Whose face? Look here, is there something about the zoo?
What?
The zoo. The zoo, you said something about the zoo.
Zoo.
Well, you mentioned it several times.
Zoo. Oh, yeah, the zoo. I was there. Before I came here. I told you that. Say, what's the dividing line between upper and middle class and lower upper middle class?
Oh, look. My dear fellow.
Hey, don't my dear fellow me, huh?
Was I patronizing? Yes, I believe I was. I'm sorry. Well, Your question about the classes bewildered me.
And when you're bewildered, you become patronizing. Huh?
Sometimes I don't express myself very well. I'm in publishing, not writing.
So be it. The truth is, I was being patronizing.
Oh, no. You don't have to say that.
All right. Who are your favorite writers? Baudelaire and J.P. Marquand?
Well, I like a great many writers, actually. I have considerable catholicity of taste, if I may say so. Well, those two men are fine, each in his own way. Baudelaire, of course, is finer too. However, there's a place for Marquand in our national...
All right, skip it.
Sorry.
You know what I did before I went to the zoo today? I walked all the way up Fifth Avenue from Washington Square, all the way.
Oh. You live in the village?
No, I don't. I took a subway down in the village so I could walk all the way up Fifth Avenue to the zoo. All those things a person has to do. Sometimes a person has to go a very long distance out of his way to come back. A short distance correctly.
Mm-hmm. I thought you lived in the village.
What are you trying to do? Make sense out of things? Bring order? The old pigeonhole bit, huh? Well, that's easy, huh? I'll tell you. I live in a 4-story brownstone rooming house on the Upper West Side between Columbus Avenue and Central Park West. I live in the top floor, rear. West side. It's a laughably small room. And one of my walls is made of beaver board. This beaver board wall separates my room from another laughably small room. So I assume that the two rooms were once one room. Small room. But not necessarily laughable. The room beyond my beaver board wall is occupied by a colored queen who always keeps his door open. Well, not always. But always when he's plucking his eyebrows, which he does with Buddhist concentration. This colored queen has rotten teeth, which is rare. And he has a Japanese kimono, which is also pretty rare. He wears this kimono to and from the John in the hall, which is pretty frequent. I mean, he goes to the John a lot. He never bothers me. Never brings anyone up to his room. All he does is pluck his eyebrows, wear his kimono, and go to the John. Now, the two front rooms on my floor are a little larger, I guess. But they're pretty small, too. There's a Puerto Rican family living in one of them. Husband, wife, and some kids. I don't know how many. These people entertain a lot. And there's somebody else living in the other front room. But I don't know who it is. I've never seen who it is. Never. Never, ever.
Why do you live there?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound like a very nice place where you live.
Well, no, it isn't an apartment in the East 70s. But then again, I don't have one wife, 2 daughters, 2 cats, and 2 parakeets. What I do have, I have toilet articles, a few clothes, hot plate that I'm not supposed to have, can opener, one that works with a key, you know? Knife, fork, 2 spoons, 1 large, 1 small, 3 plates, cup, saucer, drinking glass, 2 picture frames, both empty, 8 or 9 books. Pack of pornographic playing cards, regular deck. An old Western Union typewriter that prints nothing but capital letters. And a small strong box without a lock. Which has in it what? Rocks. Some rocks. Sea-rounded rocks I picked up on the beach when I was a kid. Under which, weighed down, are some letters. Please, letters, please, why don't you do this? And please, why don't you do that? And when letters, too. When will you write? When will you come? When? These letters are from more recent years.
about those 2 empty picture frames.
I don't see why they need any explanation at all. Isn't it clear? I don't have pictures of anyone to put in them.
A girlfriend, or perhaps, your parents?
You're a very sweet man. And you're possessed of a truly enviable innocence. But good old mom and good old papa dead, you know? And I'm broken up about it, too. I mean, really. But that particular vaudeville act is playing the cloud circuit now, so I don't see how I can look at them all neat and framed. Besides, good old mom walked out on good old pop when I was 10 and a half years old. She embarked on an adulterous turn of our southern states. Journey of about a year's duration. And a most constant companion among others. Among many others was a certain Mr. Barleycorn. At least that's what good old Pop told me when he went down and he came back. He brought her body north. We received the news between Christmas and New Year's, you see. That good old mom had parted with a ghost in some dump in Alabama. And without the ghost, she was less welcome. I mean, what was she, huh? A stiff. A northern stiff. Anyway, good old Pop, he celebrated the New Year for even 2 weeks and then slapped into the front of a somewhat moving city omnibus, which sort of cleaned things out family-wise.
Oh, my, oh, my.
Oh, you're what? Well, anyway, that was a long time ago, and I have no particular feeling about any of it that I care to admit to myself. But perhaps you can see, though, why good old mom and good old papa framed us. What's your name? Your first name?
I'm Peter.
I'd forgotten to ask you. I'm Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
Let's see now, what's the point in having a girl's picture? Especially in 2 frames. I have 2 picture frames, remember? Besides, I never see the pretty little ladies more than once, and most of them wouldn't be caught in the same room with a camera. It's odd. And I wonder if it's sad.
What, the girls?
No, I wonder if it's sad that I never see the little ladies more than once. I've never been able to have sex with them, or how was it put? Make love to anybody more than once. Once, that's it. Oh, wait. Wait, once for a week and a half when I was 15 years old. And I hang my head in shame that puberty was late. I was, HOMOSEXUAL. I mean, I was queer. Queer. With the bells ringing and the banners snapping in the wind. And for those 11 days, I met at least twice a day with the park superintendent's son, a Greek boy. His birthday was the same as mine, except he was a year older. I think I was very much in love. Maybe just with sex. But that was a jazz of a very special hotel, wasn't it?
Well,
But now, how I love the little ladies. I mean, really, I love them. For about an hour.
well, you know, it seems perfectly simple. I mean, to me.
Now look, are you going to tell me to get married and have parakeets?
Forget the parakeets, And stay single if you want to. I mean, it's no business of mine. I didn't start this conversation in the first place.
All right, I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry. You're not angry, are you?
No, I'm not angry.
Good. You know, it's interesting that you should ask me about the picture frames. I thought that you would have asked me about the pornographic playing cards.
Yes, well, I've seen those cards.
That's not the point. I bet that when you were a kid, you and your buddies, you passed them around. Maybe you had a pack of your own.
I suppose a lot of us did.
And you threw them away just before you got married.
Now, look here. I didn't need that kind of thing when I got older.
No?
I'd rather not talk about these things.
So don't. I wasn't trying to plumb your post-adolescent sexual life in hard times. What I was trying to get at is the value difference between pornographic playing cards when you were a kid and pornographic playing cards when you're older. It's just that when you were a kid, you use the cards as a substitute for the real experience. And when you're older, you use the real experience as a substitute for the fantasy. But I imagine you'd rather hear about what happened at the zoo.
Oh, yes, the zoo. That is, if you...
I think I told you about the 4th floor of the rooming house where I live. I think the rooms are larger as you go down, floor by floor. I don't know. I guess they are. I don't know any of the people living on the 3rd and the 2nd floors. Oh, wait. I do know that there's a lady living on the 3rd floor in the front. I know this because she cries all the time. Whenever I go out, whenever I come back in, whenever I pass the door, I always hear her crying. It's muffled, but it's very determined. Very determined indeed. But the one I'm getting to and all about the dog is the landlady. Now, I don't like to use words that are too harsh in describing people. I don't like to. But the landlady is a fat... It's ugly. Mean. Stupid. Unwashed. Misanthropic. Cheap, drunken bag of garbage. You may have noticed I very seldom use profanity, so I can't describe her as well as I might.
Yes, well, you describe her vividly.
Thanks. Anyway, she has a dog. And she and the dog are the gatekeepers of my dwelling. Now, the woman is bad enough. She leans around in the entrance hall and she spies to see that I don't bring in things or people. And whenever she's had a mid-afternoon pint of lemon-flavored gin, she always stops me in the hall. She grabs a hold of my coat and my arm, and she presses a disgusting body up against me to keep me in a corner so she can talk to me. The smell of her body and her breath. Can't imagine it. And somewhere in the back of that pea-sized brain of hers, an organ developed just enough to let her eat, drink, and emit. She has some foul parody of sexual desire. And I, Peter, I am the object of her sweaty lust.
That's disgusting. That's horrible.
But I find a way to keep her off. Whenever she talks to me, whenever she presses herself to my body and mumbles about her room and about how I should come there, I merely say, but love, wasn't yesterday enough for you? And the day before? Then she puzzles. She makes slits of her tiny eyes, and she sways a little. And it's at this point, Peter, I think I might be doing some good in that tormented house. A simple-minded smile begins to form on that unthinkable face. And she giggles and she groans and she thinks about yesterday and the day before as she believes and relives what never happened. And then she motions to that black monster of a beast she has. She goes back into her room and then I'm safe. Until our next meeting.
Oh, my, that's... It's hard for me to believe that people like that really are.
It's for reading about, isn't it?
Yes.
In fact, is better left to fiction, huh? No, you're right, Peter, you're right. But what I've been meaning to tell you about is the dog. I will now.
Oh, yes, the dog.
Well, don't go. You're not thinking of going, are you?
Well,
Because after I tell you about the dog, you know what then? Then I'll tell you about what happened at the zoo.
You're full of stories, aren't you?
You don't have to listen. There's nobody holding you here. You remember that. You keep that in your mind.
I know that.
You do.
Yes.
Good. All right. The story of Jerry and the dog. Now, what I'm going to tell you now has something to do with how sometimes it's necessary to go a very long distance out of your way to come back. A short distance, correctly. Or maybe I only think it has something to do with that. But it's why I went to the zoo today, and why I walked northerly, rather, until I came here. All right, the dog. I think I told you this. There's a black monster of a beast, an oversized head, tiny ears and eyes that are bloodshot. Infected, maybe. And the body. You can see the ribs through the skin. This dog is black, all black. All black except for the bloodshot eyes. And oh yeah, there's an open sore on his right forepaw. That's red too. Oh no, yeah, that poor monster. I do believe it's an old dog. Certainly a misused one. Almost always has an erection of sorts. That's red too. What else? Oh yeah, there's a gray-yellow-white color whenever he bares his fangs like this. Which he did. When he saw me for the first time the day I moved in. I worried about that dog from the first minute I met him. You know, animals don't take to me. Like St. Francis had birds hanging off him all the time. What I mean is animals aren't indifferent to me, like people, most of the time. But this dog wasn't indifferent. From the very beginning, he'd snarl and go for one of my legs. Not like he was rabid, you know. He was sort of a stumbly dog. But he wasn't half-assed either. That was a good stumbly run. But I always got away. He got a piece of my trouser. Look. See it right there, what's mended. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
He got that the second day I lived there. But I kicked free and I got upstairs fast, so that was that. I still don't know to this day how the other roomers manage it. But you know what I think? I think it had only to do with me. Cozy? Well, this went on for over a week. Whenever I came in, but never when I went out. Now that's funny. Or it was funny. I could pack up and live in the street for all that dog cared. Well, I thought about it up in my room one day after one of the times I bolted upstairs, and I made up my mind. I decided, first, I'll kill that dog with kindness. And if that doesn't work, I'll just kill him.
Oh, now, just a minute.
Now, don't react, Peter, just listen. So, the next day I went out and I bought a bag of hamburgers, medium rare, no ketchup and no onion. And on the way home, I threw away the rolls and I kept just the meat. When I got back to the rooming house, the dog was waiting for me. I half opened the door that led to the entrance hall. And there he was, waiting. I figured. I went in cautiously. I had the hamburgers, you remember. I opened the bag and I set the meat down about 12 feet from where that dog was snarling at me, like so. He snarled, he stopped snarling, he sniffed, he moved slowly, then faster and faster towards the meat. When he got to it, he stopped and he looked at me. I smiled. Tentatively, you understand. Then he turned his face back to the hamburgers, smelled and sniffed some more, and then he tore into them like that. It was as if he had never eaten anything before in his life, except maybe like garbage, which might very well have been the truth. I don't think the landlady ever eats anything but garbage. Anyway, he finished all the hamburgers almost all at once, making sounds in his throat like a woman. Then, when he finished the meat, the hamburger, he tried to eat the paper too. He sat down, he smiled. I think he smiled. I know cats do. That was a very gratifying few moments. And then, BAM! He snarled and made for me again. But he didn't get me this time either. So I got upstairs, and I lay down on my bed, and I started to think about that dog again. To be truthful, I was offended. And I was damn mad, too. There were 6 perfectly good hamburgers with not enough pork in it to make it disgusting. I was offended. And after a while, I decided to try it again for a few more days. Now, if you think about it, this dog had what amounted to an antipathy towards me, really. And I wondered if I mightn't overcome that antipathy. So I tried it again for 5 more days, but it was always the same. Snarl, sniff, move, faster, stare, gobble, smile, snarl, bam! Well, by this time, Columbus Avenue was strewn with hamburger rolls. And I was less offended than I was disgusted. So I decided to kill the dog.
You can't.
Don't be so alarmed, Peter. I didn't succeed. On the day I tried to kill the dog, I bought only 1 hamburger and what I thought was a murderous portion of rat poison. When I bought the hamburger, I asked the man not to bother with the roll. All I wanted was the meat. Well, I expected some reaction from him like, we don't sell hamburgers without the roll. Or, what do you want to do, eat it out of your hands? But no, he smiled benignly. He wraps up the hamburger in some wax paper and says, a bite for your pussycat? I wanted to say, no, not really. It's a part of a plan to poison a dog I know. But you can't say dog I know without sounding funny, so I said, a little too loudly, I'm afraid, and too formally, yes, a bite for my pussycat. People looked up. Always happens when I try to simplify things, people look up. So, on the way back to the rooming house, I needed the hamburger and a rat poison together between my hands. At this point, feeling as much sadness as disgust. I opened the door that led to the entrance hall, and there the monster was, waiting to take my offering, then jumping. That poor bastard, he never learned that the moment he took the smile, before he went for me, gave me time enough to get out of range. There he was, malevolence with an erection, waiting. I put the poison patty down, and I moved toward the stairs, and I watched. That poor animal gobbled that food down as usual, smiled, which made me almost sick, and then bam! But I sprinted up the stairs as usual, and the dog didn't get me, as usual. And it came to pass that the beast was deathly ill. I know this because he no longer attended me, and because the landlady sobered up. She stopped me in the hall, the same evening of the attempted murder, and confided the information that God had struck her puppy dog a surely fatal blow. She had forgotten her bewildered lust, and her eyes were wide open for the first time. They looked like the dog's eyes. She sniveled and implored me to pray for the animal. I wanted to say to her, Madam, I have myself to pray for, the colored queen, the Puerto Rican family, the person in the front room who I've never seen, the woman who cries deliberately behind a closed-door room, and all the rest of the people in all rooming houses everywhere. And besides, Madam, I don't understand how to pray. But simplify things, I told her I would pray. She looked up. She said that I was a liar, and that I probably wanted her dog to die. I told her, and there is so much truth here, Peter, I told her I didn't want the dog to die, and I didn't. Not just because I poisoned him. I'm afraid I must tell you that I wanted that dog to live so that I could see what our new relationship might come to.
Oh, well.
Now, please understand this, Peter. This sort of thing is important. You must believe me. It's important.
Yes, but
we have got to know the effect of our actions. All right. So, anyway, the dog recovered. When I came home from a movie that was playing on 42nd Street, a movie I'd seen, or one that was very much like one or several I'd seen, I walked in the door and I advanced unafraid to the center of the entrance hall. That beast was there looking at me. And you know, he looked better for his scrape with the Nevermind. I stopped and I looked at him. And he looked at me. Oh, I think we stayed a long time that way, still, stone statues still, just looking at one another. I looked longer into his face than he looked into mine. But during that 20 seconds or 2 hours that we looked into each other's face, we made contact. Now, this is what I had wanted to happen. I loved that dog now, and I wanted him to love me. I had tried to love and I tried to kill, and both had been unsuccessful by themselves, I hoped. And I don't really even know why I expected the dog to understand anything, much less my motivations. But I hoped that the dog would understand. It's just that, if you can't deal with people, you have to make a start somewhere, don't you see? A person has got to have some way of dealing with something. If not with people, then with something, with a bed, with a cockroach, with a mirror. No, not that. That's too hard. That's one of the last steps. With a cockroach, with a carpet, with a roll of toilet paper. You see how hard it is to find things? the street corner. And too many lights, all the colors reflecting on the oily, wet streets. With a wisp of smoke, with pornographic playing cards, with a strong box, without a lock, with love, with vomiting, with crying, with fury, because the pretty little ladies aren't pretty little ladies. With making money with your body, which is an act of love, and I can prove it. With howling because you're alive. With God. How about that with God? Who's a colored queen who wears a kimono and plucks his eyebrows? Who's a woman who cries with determination behind a closed-door room? With God. Who I'm told turned his back on all things some time ago. With people. Or someday with people, with an idea, with a concept. And we're ever better in this humiliating excuse for a jail. We're better to be able to communicate one single, simple-minded idea than in an entrance hall. Where? That would be a start. We're better to make a beginning, to understand and just possibly be understood. The beginning of an understanding than with a dog. Just that. A dog. A dog, it seemed like such a perfectly sensible idea. Man is a dog's best friend, remember? So, the dog and I looked at each other. I longer than the dog. And what I saw then has been the same ever since. Whenever the dog and I see each other, we both stop where we are. And we regard each other with a mixture of sadness and suspicion. And we feign indifference. We walk past each other safely. We have an understanding. It's sad, but you have to admit that it's an understanding. The dog has returned to garbage, and I have returned to solitary free passage. I'm not returned, I mean to say. I've gained solitary free passage. That much further loss can be said to be a gain. I have learned that neither kindness nor cruelty by themselves, independent of each other, creates any effect beyond themselves. And I have learned that the two combined, together, at the same time, are the teaching emotion. And what is gain is loss. And what's been the result, huh? The dog and I have attained a compromise. It's more of a bargain, really. We neither hurt nor love. Because we don't try to reach each other. And was my trying to feed the dog an act of love? And perhaps was the dog's attempt to bite me not an act of love? Well, if we can so misunderstand, well then why have we created the word love in the first place? The story of Jerry and the dog. The end. Well, Peter? Well, Peter? You think I can sell that story to the Reader's Digest? Like a couple $100 for the most unusual character I've ever met, huh? Come on, Peter, tell me what you think.
I don't understand that. I don't think anything. Why did you tell me all these things?
Why not?
Because I don't understand.
Now that's a lie.
No, it's not.
But I tried to explain it to you. I went along very
Yes, look,
slowly.
please.
It all has to do with
Please,
people.
I don't want to hear anymore. Now look, I don't understand you. Or your landlady, or her dog.
Her dog? I thought it was mine. Ah, yeah. Ah, you're right, Peter, you're right. It's her dog. I don't know what I was thinking about. Of course you don't understand. I don't live in your block. I'm not married to two parakeets or whatever your setup is. I'm a permanent transient, and my home is a sickening rooming houses on the Upper West Side of New York City, which is the greatest city in the world I'm in.
Oh, look, I'm terribly sorry.
Forget it. I suppose you don't know quite what to make of me, do you?
Well, we get all kinds in publishing.
You're a very funny man, you know that? You're a very, a richly comic person.
No, not really.
Tell me, Peter, do I annoy you or confuse you?
Well, I must confess this wasn't the kind of afternoon I'd anticipated.
Oh, you mean I'm not the gentleman you were expecting, huh?
I wasn't expecting anyone.
No, I don't imagine you were. But I'm here, and I'm not leaving.
Well, you may not be, but I have to be getting home soon.
Oh, come on, Peter, stay a
Would
little
you
while
hand me
longer.
that thing? Please don't do that. Just hand me. I'm ticklish. No, don't do that. Honestly, no.
Peter.
Besides, the parakeets are getting dinner, don't.
Peter, listen.
And the kids.
Peter. Peter, listen to me, Peter.
What? What, Jerry?
You want to hear about what happened at the zoo?
The what? Oh, yes, the zoo. By all means. I had my own zoo there for a minute, didn't I? What with the parakeets getting the dinner or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was very funny, Peter. I wouldn't have expected it, but you want to hear about what happened at the zoo or not?
Yes, by all means. What happened to the zoo? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what happened to me.
Now I'll let you in on what happened at the zoo. But first, I should tell you why I went to the zoo. I went to the zoo to find out more about the way people exist with animals, and the way animals exist with each other, and with people too. But it probably wasn't a fair test, what with everyone separated by bars from everyone else. The animals, for the most part, from each other, and always the people from the animals. But if it's a zoo, that's the way it is. Move over.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Don't you have enough room?
Well, all the animals are there, and all the people are there, and it's Sunday. So all the children are there, too. Move over.
All right.
And it's a hot day, so all the stench is there, too. And all the ice cream sellers, and all the balloon sellers, and all the seals are barking, and all the birds are screaming. Move over.
Look here, you've got more than enough room.
And I'm there, too. And it's feeding time in a lion's house, and a lion keeper comes into the lion cage, one of the lion cages, to feed one of the lions. Move over.
I can't move over anymore. And stop punching me in the arm. What's the matter with you?
Do you want to hear the story or not?
Well, I'm not so sure. I certainly don't want to be punched in the arm.
You like that?
Stop that! What's the matter with you?
I'm crazy, you bastard.
That isn't funny.
Now listen to me, Peter. I want this bench. You'll go sit in that bench over there. And if you're good, I'll tell you the rest of the story.
What for? What is the matter with you? Besides, I see no reason to give up this bench. Listen, I sit on this bench almost every Sunday afternoon in good weather. Well, it's secluded here. There's never anybody sitting here. I usually have the bench to myself.
Get off this bench, Peter. I want it.
No.
I said I want this bench and I'm gonna have it. Now you go sit over there.
Now listen. People can't always have what they want, you know. I mean, that's a rule. You should know that. People can have some of the things they want. They can't have everything they want.
You imbecile, you're slow-witted.
Stop that.
You're a vegetable. Go lie down on the ground.
Now listen, you. I put up with you all afternoon.
Not really.
Well, long enough. I put up with you long enough. I mean, I listened to you because you seem like a... Well, you seem like you wanted to talk to somebody.
You put things well, you know. Gee, Jesus, you make me sick! Now get off here and give me my bench!
My bench!
Get out of my sight!
Oh, God damn you, that's enough. Now I've had enough of this. I will not give up this bench, and you can't have it, and that's that. Now go on, get out of here. Go on, get away from here. Listen, if you don't move along... Oh, you're a bum. You know that's what you are? If you don't move along, I'm going to get a policeman here, and he'll make you go. Now, I warn you, I'll call a policeman.
You won't find a policeman around here. They're all on the west side of the park, chasing fairies down from the trees and out of the bushes. So scream your head off, won't do you any good.
Police! Now, I warn you, I'm going to have you arrested. I say police! Police! Oh, I feel ridiculous.
You look ridiculous. A grown man screaming his head off at the police on a bright Sunday afternoon with nobody harming you.
Great God, I just came to sit here and read. And now you want to take the bench away from me?
You're on your precious bench and you're never going to have it for yourself again.
Now listen, you. I don't care if it makes any sense or not. I want that bench to myself. And I want you off of it. Now go ahead, get out of here.
Now look who's mad.
Go on, get away from here.
No.
Now I warn you.
You know how ridiculous you look now.
It doesn't matter. Just get off of my bench.
Why? You have everything in the world you want. You told me about your home, and your family, and your own little zoo. You have everything, and now you want this bench. Are these the things men fight for? Peter, tell me. Is this bench, this iron, and this wood, is this your honor? Can you think of anything more absurd?
Absurd? Oh, look, I'm not going to talk to you about honor. I'm not even going to try to explain myself to you. Besides, it isn't a question of honor. And even if it were, you wouldn't understand it.
You don't even know what you're saying now, do you? This is probably the first time in your life you've had to face anything more trying than changing your cat's toilet box.
Now listen, you. I have come here for years. I have had hours of great pleasure, great satisfaction right here. Now that's important to a man. I'm a responsible person. And I'm a grown-up. And that's my bench. And you've got no right to take it away from me.
All right, fight for it then. Defend yourself. Defend your bench.
All right. Now you push me to it. Now you get up here and fight.
Like a man?
Yes, like a man, if you insist on mocking me even further.
I ought to give you credit for one thing, Peter. You are a vegetable.
Now that's enough.
And as they say on TV all the time, and I mean this
stop
sincerely, Peter, you have a certain dignity. It's surprising.
Stop it!
Very well. We'll, battle for the bench. But we're not evenly matched.
Oh, you are mad.
What's the matter, Peter? Haven't you ever seen a knife before?
You're stark raving mad. You're gonna kill me?
There you go, pick it up. Pick it up. Pick up the knife and we'll be more evenly matched.
No.
Pick up that knife and you fight with me. You fight for your self-respect. You fight for that goddamn bench.
Let go of me! Let me go!
Help! You fight for your cats. You fight for your parakeets. You fight for your manhood, you pathetic little vegetable. You couldn't even get your wife with a male child.
It's a matter of genetics, not manhood, you monster! I'll give you one last chance. Come on, get out of here! Now you stay away from me.
Well, so be it.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Oh, my God! Oh, my God,
Well, thank you, Peter. I mean that now. Thank you very much. I was so afraid I'd drive you away, you don't know. Afraid I was you'd go away and leave me.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'll let you know what happened at the zoo. I think this is what happened at the zoo.
Oh, my God.
I think that while I was at the zoo, I decided I'd walk northerly, until I found you or somebody. And I decided I'd talk to you, and I'd tell you things, and the things I'd tell you would... And here we are. You see? Here we are.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know. Could I have planned all this? No, I couldn't have. But I think I did. And now you know what you see in your TV. Remember that face I told you about, Peter? Remember that face? My face. The face you're looking at right now, Peter. Peter?
Oh, my God.
Peter, thank you. I came unto you and you have comforted me. Dear Peter. But you better hurry away now, Peter. Hurry away. Hurry away. Before somebody comes by. You don't want to be here when anyone comes by. Oh, wait, Peter, I'll tell you something now. You're not a vegetable. It's all right. You're an animal. You're an animal, too. But you better hurry away now, Peter. Hurry away, quick. Hurry away, quick. Quick. Oh, wait, Peter. Peter, get your book.
Oh, my God.
Peter, get your book here beside me on the bench, Peter, quick. Peter, quick, get your book. Peter. Peter. Good. Good, now hurry away. Hurry away,
Oh,
Peter.
God.
Hurry away. The cats are getting dinner, and your parakeets are setting the table.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
My God,